With over 50 zombies maps released for Call of Duty since 2008, here's 15 things you never knew in Call of Duty Zombies. In the iconic zombies map Origins, after upgrading all 4 of the staffs, the next step requires you to place all 4 staffs in 4 different podiums. Now, originally when this map first came out, no one knew exactly what staff went in what robot. Eventually, after trial and error, players discovered the correct staff for each giant robot, but Treyarch actually added a step that directly told you what staff goes where, and no one discovered it for years and years. When you're on this step and get a Zombie's Blood power-up and make your way to one of the podiums, you will see in Zombie's Blood vision the name of the elemental staff that's needed written in a language called Elder Futhark. It is the oldest form of the runic alphabet and was used on jewelry, amulets, weapons, and runestones in Scandinavia from the 2nd to the 10th centuries. Treyarch really went through the effort to add the words fire, ice, wind, and lightning in this language to these podiums that you can only see in Zombie's Blood. I can't believe that no one discovered this for years after the map's release, and considering you get hints for the step you're on in Zombie's Blood, I'm surprised no one tried it before. Now, on the topic of new things, my sponsor Sneak have got a new flavor dropping on the 29th called Electric Mango. If you're looking for an amazing gaming energy drink, check Sneak out in the description below and use code Dalek at checkout. Sticking here with Origins, and the second thing would be a game-changing trap that was planned to be on Origins, and that was the Flogger Trap from Shinonuma. This was going to be placed in the cemetery area / village entrance, and would have had the diesel punk aesthetic just like everything else does in Origins, such as when the trap would be activated, the engines would begin to turn on and steam would pump out of pipes. The wooden elements of the Flogger from Shinonuma would be converted into an iron alternative where the spikes would be iron gate spikes instead of wooden spears. Considering Origins has 0 traps on the map whatsoever, this probably would have been an incredible addition. Let's move on to an Easter egg which I'm sure most of you haven't seen before and took years to solve because it's the most bizarre thing ever. Now, within video games, one of the most iconic cheat code inputs is the Konami Code. It's been a thing since the 1980s, and lots of video games want to pay homage to this classic cheat code. And on the Black Ops 1 version of Shangri-La, in the spawn room, if you stand specifically where I am right now, press a variation of the Konami Code on a gamepad, which is up, up, down, down on the D-pad, and then A, all of the Shangri-La monkeys present on the map will explode immediately. Now, an Easter egg as obscure as this definitely wasn't solved back in the day. This took 6 years after the map's release for this to be discovered through the game's code. Now, don't get me wrong, these monkeys are hella annoying, but I don't think I have it in me to actually do this Easter egg. And Treyarch is so cruel that you can do this every 30 seconds if you wanted to. Now, for our next thing, we're going to be looking at an Easter egg step which no one knew how to do for nearly 4 years until it was recently discovered by No Thumb's crew. In the Easter egg for Blood of the Dead on Black Ops 4, you are tasked to find a blue bird in 4 different locations across 4 rounds. The only problem is that there are 40 spawn locations for this bird. Now, that is an absolute joke, and until now, everyone has just looked across all of these locations to try and find the bird. But 4 years later, a new trick has been found that Treyarch added in the map to help you find exactly where the bird is. Big props to No Thumb's crew for being the first to discover this, but when you're looking for the 2nd and 3rd bird, simply look through your shield out towards the water, and you will see a blue streak go across the water that indicates the direction that the bird has traveled in. As you see on screen there, it shot towards the left side, so I know that it's not going to be in the prison, it's going to be towards the spawn area. And lo and behold, I found it. Such a neat trick that makes life so much easier when it comes to how difficult this map can be. That is not the only trick that's been discovered recently on this map, as for our 5th thing, there is a later Easter egg step where you have to do Morse code. Now, up until now, it's been complete trial and error by all the players to discover what their code is, being a long or a short button press. Well, you no longer have to guess this either, because there is another trick to show you. Around the map, there are 3 specific places you want to look through your shield at these buoys outside the map floating. Looking through your shield, you'll see that these buoys are going to be flashing a Morse code message. First part of the Morse code message is found on the gondola looking out to the left. The second one for the second part of the code is found at the halfway point of the catwalk outside the map, and the last one is found through a zombie window above the spawn room. Once you've looked through the shield on these 3 locations and noted down this pattern, you can just go and do the step and complete it on your first attempt. Okay, for our next one, here is a really cool detail that 99.9% of you never knew, because I sure didn't. But during the iconic boss fight for Der Eisendrache, the Keeper's attacks actually symbolize the 4 bow elements on the map. Now at first you're going to be going, John, what on earth are you talking about? But if we think about it, the Keeper can send out skulls, which is exactly what the Void Bow does. Firebow creates these volcanoes, which the Keeper literally spawns around us during the boss fight. He also has a lightning wipe attack, which you need to hide behind the pillars to avoid, and he spawns in Hellhounds, which symbolizes the Wolf Bow. The wolf we followed in order to help get that bow. Really cool, but minute detail. Do you guys remember the secret Easter egg on Target Totem? Possibly one of the most bizarre Easter eggs we've seen from Treyarch Zombies. The Easter egg flings you through an icy cavern towards what is essentially Treyarch's way of confirming Shangri-La is on Mars, because you're standing on a planet looking towards Mars. However, no one knew exactly how to get this Easter egg to work until about a year or so ago, thanks to the help of the decompiled BO4 scripts. In order to activate this Easter egg, every single time, all you need to do is run to this very corner of the flinger, spin really fast in a circle on the spot, and you will be flung to this secret area, guaranteed. For a really long time, no one understood exactly how this Easter egg worked, but now we do, and it's pretty awesome. Now we're at the halfway point in this video, so if you're enjoying it so far, let me know down below in the comments, drop a thumbs up, and consider subscribing because we post tons of content like this. But for our 8th thing, going over to the Black Ops 4 map, Ancient Evil, for one of the coolest steps in all of Zombies, in my opinion. This is during the Know Your Mark step, where you're in the amphitheater and you have to run towards a colored spotlight resembling your player. Now there is a very cool piece of music that's playing during this step, but what you didn't realize is that this was a music piece written by Kevin Sherwood over 20 years ago. This man was messing about in his teenage years, created this song, and then just completely forgot about it, and then one day thought, hey, let's bring this back and turn it into a zombie song. Now our next thing is absolutely game-changing. Now I'm sure all of you know about persistent upgrades or the perma perks in Black Ops 2 Zombies, but did you know that there were going to be a lot more than what we actually got? There were going to be upgrades for every single perk, such as Tombstone, where the upgrade gave you all your stuff back, but gave you the chance of your weapon potentially coming back pack-a-punched, being given 7,000 extra points, or being teleported closer to your teammates. Mule Kick, you were going to be given a Bowie knife with all future purchases of Mule Kick. With double points, purchases would be half off when a double points was active. Now there's likely to be even more than that planned, which just never made it into the final game. Let me know if there are any upgrades that you would have liked to have seen. Do you think there's more than enough upgrades in the game? Speaking of upgrades, one which a surprising amount of people still don't know about is that you can buy any wall gun off the wall and it will be a ray gun. Like straight up, a full-on ray gun that only costs you 500 points. But the only requisite is that you have to be a brand new account which has never played Zombies before. Permaperk is labeled noob in the game's files, and between rounds 1 and 3, if you buy a wall gun, it will be a ray gun. But once you survived past that at all, you will never be able to get this permaperk again. Now, if you thought that made Black Ops 2 Zombies easy, then wait till we show you this thing on Die Rise. And I know people would say this is the worst map ever made. It's horrible, it's difficult. But did you know, if you're playing this map on solo and you buy the coveted Who's Who perk, and then buy Quick Revive inside of Who's Who, you can go down and you can get revived like you normally would, whilst your original Who's Who body is still there. This makes the solo experience on Die Rise even easier than it already was, because now you can go down twice and still recover. And that's why 100% of players love Who's Who. Am I right? And let's take it back to the OG map for Zombies, Nakda and Toten. There isn't a lot to do on this map, like there really isn't. However, there's one very cool Easter egg which I don't think everyone knows about, and that is blowing up all of the barrels outside of the map. You could do this in the World at War version, but in the Black Ops 1 version, if you blow up all the barrels, you'll get a music Easter egg that plays called Undone by Kevin Sherwood, which is an instrumental. It's up there as one of my favorite songs that Kevin Sherwood has ever created for Zombies. Now, for our next thing, did you know that there is an alternative ending for Blood of the Dead, which was cut from the game, discovered within the Russian version of Black Ops 4? We all know how this Easter egg ending goes. We've heard the dialogue many times. But in this Russian version, we hear Richtofen say some completely different stuff. Instead of worlds born and collapse, it's worlds born and collide. He saddled giants, conquered shadows, walked a path no other could take. At the end reveals something truly heartbreaking. He mentions about Dimension 2210, where he was just a child version of himself, and he died alone. It is said that staying is always harder, but you have to go, have to survive. You are cursed before he bows out. Now, this is such a more depressing version of the ending than what we got originally. Seeing Richtofen said the words, "I died alone," and that's exactly what's happening to him in this moment in time. It's just heartbreaking, man. There's no doubt this ending has a bigger impact than the actual one that we got, and I don't know why they changed it, but for whatever reason, they did. Now, for our next thing, it's a trick to speed up the reload of one of the most beloved wonder weapons in all of zombies, and this is the Wunderwaffe DG2 on the Giant. Now, if you didn't know this trick, we're gonna want to know it, especially if you don't have Speed Cola. This trick lets you reload this like as if you had Speed Cola. Now, in order for this trick to work, you simply have to reload the weapon, and then the moment you see the number 6 appear to show you've got a full mag, just knife, and you'll notice that the gun will have reloaded in twice the speed. You have the full capacity there again, but you've skipped half of the animation. Comparing it side by side with non-Speed Cola on the right and Speed Cola on the left, there's only a small fraction of difference. Whilst in late game, it might not even matter because you'll have Speed Cola and all the other perks. If for whatever reason you didn't and you had to try and survive without it for a brief period of time, this would work really well. And last but by no means least is a secret within Blood of the Dead. Now, it's very obvious that you can see Al's cap sitting on top of this fence near where you'd pick up the Warden's key in the original game. But did you know that inside of a cell block opposite to the hat is actually a bone with the prisoner number for Sal De Luca? It's in such a dark, hard to see place that you'd barely see it in game, let alone me pointing it out in this video. But it's fascinating to see this reference to him being with a bone with his number etched onto it. Like, why? That's gonna wrap up the 15 things you never knew inside of Call of Duty Zombies. Keep your eyes on the channel for more videos like this. Why don't you check out the 20 greatest Easter eggs in COD history on your screen right now?